back to week 2. We spent some time last week talking about wisdom, what it is, where to look for it. And you had a little bit of homework, I don't know if any of you remember, to go see if you can hear that flute underneath the big brass band. And today we wanted to come back and just dive a little bit deeper into, like, how do we create penny dropping moments? Would be a question that I often get asked by clients.
Sure.
I have a take on that, but I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful conversation. It's probably one of my favorite ones, and it is the one that people have. Okay, get it. Wisdom. Now, get me more. I get it. I understand. Me too. This is going to be deeply, deeply reassuring, and yet slightly, really? Is that all? So just sit with it. Don't worry too much about figuring what I'm going to say out. Just listen for what's true, what feels good. The rest isn't for you today. I'm going to talk about where it comes from. My current favorite word, or 2 words, is the space. That's my current way of feeling into what I'm going to talk about. There's a space that we fall into. You could say align with, that is already there. It's innate. It is our true nature. It is being, just being. And the being feels good in some way. It has what we might call good, although good is even too much of a description. It just feels, I want to say, at home. We feel at home in that being. And we all have a different kind of resting state or state of being when we're at home. You know, mine tends towards joy. Some people get very calm and peaceful. And we all have all of these, by the way. Some people have a kind of sense of open, expansive, full liberation, freedom feeling. Some of us just feel connected and love for all things, you know, the things that we hated yesterday, suddenly we love today, you know, this like love, peace, ease, joy, freedom at home. When I work with clients, especially in business, I call this well-being, being well, because it's a word that sort of bridges between what we're talking about now and the world out there. The world out there kind of knows well-being is a good idea.
Yeah.
They may misunderstand what it is and where it comes from, but this is the bridging word. So I call that well-being, but really what we're talking about is that deep sense of just being in alignment. And I want to say, I'm getting the tingles now, I want to say held by the space. And the space, I used to think it was within. I feel like it's bigger now. I feel like it's everywhere, in and out, and then no in and out. It just is. It's all of it. The allness and the isness, as our dear teacher, Sydney Banks, would characterize it. In the principles, it's known as universal mind, but don't worry about the words. It is that which is much more useful for you to get a feel in an embodied way of that experience in you. And the good news is we all do. We all have moments when we touch the space. And when we touch the space, that flow is happening. Life is living us. Just like the flowers the seeds you plant grow themselves. You know, then they know to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we have animated by exactly the same life force energy. It must be, I mean, logic.
Yeah.
I was saying yesterday on a call, imagine you're on the moon looking at the earth and you see an energetic one energy field constantly changing, right? That's what you're seeing. Now, the people who don't get this, sometimes it's like they think they're the only one not on that earth being part of that energy field. Like, that's illogical, right? That's illogical.
Yeah.
We have to be in this world of form part of it. We can't be separate. We can't be. So there's this energy that animates us, and then our form is animated by it, and all our forms, thought forms, feeling forms, and then they come and go because all things in form change, but the energy remains.
Yeah.
That energy. And whilst we're aware of it, I like to think of it as awareness or consciousness or presence. Again, we're not about the words, we're about the experience. And when we're in alignment with that, whatever word works for you, that space, that conscious, intelligent, aware space, the life force itself, wisdom naturally arises. It just shows up. We can hear it. There's less on our mind, and the clarity and the simplicity. And it's almost like on a really good day, it's guide. You don't have to do anything. You just listen and follow. It's like a following almost. It's like, finally, it's not the tail wagging the dog, which normally feels like it is, it's actually, this healthy being is just guiding you, and you're following somehow this one being. So
can I just ask, Elizabeth, so when you describe it that way, it sounds like what I don't know, you tell me, right? So it sounds like what you're saying is you have to get into a different state of mind, and then you'll hear wisdom. But you need to do that first, and then you'll be able to hear wisdom. So if you're all caught up and upset about something right now as you're listening to this video, it sounds like, and I don't think this is what you're saying, right? But it sounds like, okay, I need to calm myself down. I need to get rid of all this thought. I need to find this space. I need to get really calm and present. I need to feel peaceful and joy and love. And only then will wisdom land in my head. So now I've got an even bigger job to do, because I have to get rid of this experience first. And then, if we don't have any understanding, I need to put a new experience in, and only then. So now it sounds really hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get that. That is how it sounds. Yes and no, because in this world of form, it's everything is paradoxical. So there's a yes and no to that. So for me, this is how it looks. What we're talking about is where it comes from. Yeah. So that's the constant that's always there, whether or not. So it's never not there.
Right.
It's just sometimes we can hear it better and sometimes we can't.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is optimum conditions. Okay. Optimum conditions are less on your mind, you'll hear it more clearly.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. When the more we have on our mind, the more we tend to feel stressed. The more stressed we feel, that's the kind of level of thinking we have.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. However, this is like the deeper truth. It's all wisdom. It's all coming from the same source. And if we can allow our experience to be fully, that's all that's required. Allowing is even too active. It's being with, it's really just having your experience fully, because it's for you, including all of it.
Yeah, messy bits and all, right?
Oh, especially. And my own personal experience in the idea that everything is happening for you, which is an idea that looks true to me.
Yeah, me too.
Who am I to say I shouldn't be having a low mood today? That's not my business. The one that is having the low mood is constant. The low mood will come and go, but the one that's having it never is always peaceful, even though it feels right now not.
Yes.
And really, I can tell you, as somebody who has over many years had bouts of depression, especially this time of year in this country, So I've lived in Spain for 15 years, which has helped enormously. But now I'm locked in my house, like everyone else in the UK.
Dark cold London.
In winter, in London. And the deal was when we came back last year that we would get to every 3 months, have 2 or 3 weeks in Spain. So that's deal's been broken with ourselves, right? So I'm, I could be aggrieved about that, but interestingly, I'm not. Interestingly, I'm also noticing, well, I've had a tendency to depression in this time of year, and that has been a past-based story. Now, what I've started to notice is a lot of that experience when I would get into a low mood, what would keep it there was resisting it.
Mm.
So this feeling would come along, low mood, and Elizabeth's thinking would be like, I shouldn't be feeling that. What's wrong with me? I've learned all of this understanding. How could I possibly be having this low mood? This is the resistance phenomena. What you resist persists, right? Mm. And now what happens is low mood. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I wonder what gold that's bringing to me today. I think I'll just allow it fully and see where it's taking. What if it was okay? And it passes like the tide going out and leaves treasures that I wouldn't otherwise find when the tide was all full and fat and happy. But then the tide goes out and the low mood comes. What's left are gifts. And I swear to God, I write poetry, Nick. And I would absolutely love, I don't know if there's an opportunity for me to read Let the Space, which is a beautiful way probably for us to finish this little series.
Let's make sure we've got
Let's
time.
do it.
Yeah.
But I write that kind of poetry, not that particular one, but most of the time when there is that melancholy, sort of low mood, soft, tender, vulnerable feelings that I would used to try and resist. And, my archetypal warrior would try and, whip me out of, which obviously never worked. But now I have such an honoring for them. So I just want to say to anybody that is like, oh, I've got all these things to do to kind of be in the perfect space. Well, no, just welcome whatever is arising.
You know what you remind me of at the moment, right? So my kids are homeschooling and they're all at different schools, so they're all doing it differently. But it's like, you remind me of, like, if you've got a school timetable for the day, right? And you love languages, but you hate maths, right? It's like, you've got to sit there. You've got 6 lessons today, no matter what, right? They're just coming at you one after another, and you're going to be at all of them. And so you have a languages class, and you love and you learn and you get something from it, and you really enjoy it. And then it's followed by maths, which you hate. So all the way through, you're moaning and groaning, and you hate every minute of it. But you come to the end of the maths class, and it's left its treasures, right? You've still learned something. Doesn't matter whether you liked it or not, you still learned something. And you probably learn more in languages because you weren't having a battle with your own mind. But then you get maths, and then you get a bit of French, and then you get some history, which you're quite neutral about, and maybe you get another maths class at the end. It's kind of like, that's like life. And the idea that it shouldn't happen that way, like my kids moan about it, like, I wish I know how to do maths again. But they don't really battle it because it's just part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Right? They're not signing up to self-help courses for like, try and banish maths from the curriculum. they're like, well, it's maths, it's shit, but hey ho, and get on with it. And it doesn't matter that they don't like it, they still learn.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that.
Absolutely. I love this, Nick. And you're reminding me of this fantastic, amazing, wise teacher from the past called Rumi. And he says exactly what we're talking about. This being human is a guest house.
Yeah.
Someday a joy, someday a meanness, someday a depression, a rage, a house full of sorrows. Welcome each one like a guest.
Yeah.
Because each has been sent as a guide.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
That's what we're saying here, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
All is welcome. All has wisdom. All is okay. You can have any experience and be in alignment with wisdom. It's available to you. And sometimes it will feel like you're in the space, and sometimes life is throwing a whole pile of stuff at you, but wisdom's still available.
Yeah, wisdom's the thing that lets you The wisdom's the thing that moves your hand when you're sobbing your eyes out to grab a tissue so that the snot doesn't run from your mouth,
Right.
goes into your mouth when you're telling
Right.
your friend about your woes, right? Like
Right.
it's still in operation. It's the thing that moves your hand to do that without you having to think about it, plan it, figure it out in advance, get
Yeah.
embarrassed about it, feel really upset. Like you don't even give it a second thought.
That's it.
It moves your, this is what I love about wisdom, is it moves your body regardless of what your mind's up to.
That's it. I just want to riff on that because I've been doing, I've got a personal trainer now called Charlie Wall, who is absolutely awesome.
Oh, I know Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, she comes from the understanding. She's got a real background in physical work, and she works with me remotely. And because I have an orientation towards wisdom in the intellectual and emotional, I have a really good feel for that. And she's working with me to learn about my body's wisdom. And she says, I love it when you do that wriggle. I can see you're listening to your wisdom there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So anybody for whom this might feel inaccessible, you may be one of those people who access this through body. And you'll be like, oh, you mean when I just know how to move? Oh, I know that. Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about. It really, the body and the mind and the we're making false kind of separation here. It's all wisdom, but some of us access it through the body, and it's the same. It's what helps you birth a baby when you get out of your own way. So many of us get so afraid in that process for good bloody reason. You know, it's not like millennia, there hasn't been a few little hiccups in that department. But when we get out of the way, the body knows how to give a birth to a baby. You know, I've done that twice. And, you know, what I also did, that I also noticed the first birth, how much I got in my own way, how much my own anxiety prevented the process. And the second time, I knew what to do. I knew how to be. And it was a function of the different amount of what I was giving my attention to. And I get such a visceral experience in me, in embodied wisdom, between the two births. You know, I noticed what made the difference between the two. It's quite a profound experience, actually. To circle back to last week, you know, when we were talking about Michael Neal, when I came across this understanding, I joined the dots. Oh, you mean what I'm talking, you know, when I gave birth, you mean that? Oh, and that's true for everyone on the call, right? They've got moments in their life when it arose and it was palpable and visible and game-changing in their life. Oh, you mean when I decided to marry my husband, even though everyone told me not to, but I was right? Yeah, that. Oh, I know that. Or I bought that house, even though it didn't match my checklist. Yeah. Or I left the job, or I took the job, or I moved countries. Oh, I know that. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that knowing that comes like without, and you never gave it a second thought.
I love that.
Yeah, that it came, like it comes, sometimes it comes through the medium of thought. So I realized blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And quite often it's as simple as like, I used to drink tea and then one day I switched to coffee. I can't tell you why, it wasn't a conscious decision, but there's something that brings preferences to the surface. It's like to my mind, it's like there's this underlying layer of wisdom, and little bubbles pop up to the surface every now and again. So the idea that you on the surface make the bubbles come up, it's like, no, bubbles arise. That's the nature of them. They come to you. You don't go get them.
That's it. I love this.
So read us. Have you got your poem to hand? Can you read it?
I do. Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, do that to wrap up this segment, and then next week we're going to come back and talk about like what gets in the way of wisdom.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Oh, okay. It's called Let the Space. Let it blow like the wind. Let the seeds fall where they may. Let the new shoots push up and greet the brand new day. Let it hold you in peace and heal all your pain, nourishing your soul like the falling silent rain. Let the space be your guide. Let the stillness softly speak. Your efforts are not needed to climb the mountain peak. Let the glory be beheld with a child's shiny eyes, the beauty and the light. Is it you in disguise? Let it soften you to yield like hard oil to a flame. There is nothing to be done. There is only to remain. Let the space do the work. Let the space offer love. Let the falling deep inside take you to the treasure trove. When there's hurting or a loss, let the space show you how to find your way back home to the perfect present now.
Beautiful. That's our first, I think that's our first poetry moment in Deeper Peace of Mind. Perfect. Thank you, Elizabeth. And we'll come back again. No homework this week. Just hit rewind and listen to that again, and then go live your life. And we'll see you back here next week.